Hey guys, Rocky here. Got another video for you. Just it's kind of a precursor to another video. Just want to discuss something about my Mustang here. Standing here looking at the Mustang the other day, and I just kind of looking at the lines on it and the proportions and how Ford put this together. Looking at it, wondering what makes it a Mustang. Why is it considered a Mustang? You know, is it really a Mustang? Well, you know, I mean, when I think about Mustang, I think of, 69 Mach 1 or 60, 69, 70 Boss 302 or Boss 429, something like that, right? That's the true definition of a Mustang. But then again, when you think about it, I mean, Mustang basically back then was made by Ford. The body style was designed, and they call it a Mustang. It was a big hit. Everybody liked it. They sold a lot. They still sell them today. It's like anything, the design has to change somewhat. It can't stay the same. But what really struck me is the fact that, I want a Mustang that's more like the old Mustangs, more retro. I guess that's the big thing with me. And this new Mustang, even though it's a fastback, to some degree it's a fastback, and it is somewhat retro in a sense, in the way that they've done some stuff to it. But what baffles me is I don't understand why they can't make them more like the original, make a modern day, functionally more modern day, with all of the things that we can include in a car now that we couldn't include in a car back then, but still try to replicate that older body style that everybody really liked. Why can't they get that? There's always some detail or aspect of the new design that takes it away from the original. On this one here, there's some things. I mean, I know they created the 2015, that's when the next body style change came about for the Mustang, but I know that what their goal was, from things I read online, was to try to make it more appealing to the European market. They want to sell these cars over in Europe as well. And these guys have their BMWs and their Jaguars and their Peugeots and all these different, cars, European cars, right? And I think what they tried to do, I don't know this, I can't say this for sure, but just from looking at the car, I would guess that what they did was try to take some cues from BMW. Because my first thought when I saw images of the 2015 Mustang prior to it coming out, some concept images, was that it looked a lot like BMW. And there's nothing wrong with that. BMW is a nice looking car for sure. But, if I want a car that looks like a BMW, I'm going to go buy a BMW. I want this car to look as much like a Mustang as possible. And one of the things that I've discovered on this car that really kind of bothers me a lot, especially when I look back at some of the older pictures of some of the older Mustangs, and then there's probably a reason why they've done this. I'm not, like I said, probably because they wanted to look like a BMW, but there may have been a few more factors in there that help them make the decision on how to do this. But one of the things that I don't like about this, I wish I could change, and I may try to change, is how they've done the back window. How they've designed this back window here. To me, I would like to have seen this window. I mean, the general shape is okay, but I wish they had brought it back and brought it down like this. Like the older Mustangs are more like that. They don't come down and come back in like this. It's more like a BMW style for sure. But I've been thinking, I want to try to do something to fix that. But what can you do to fix something like that? It's a structural thing. You can't really change it, right? But the fact of the matter is, I can change it. And this is probably going to be one of my projects up and coming here. I'm not sure when, but because it's a pretty involved project. But what I want to do is I want to take some carbon fiber cloth, fiberglass cloth, and I have some of that here, and I can get more. It's not that expensive. But what you do is you take the fiberglass cloth, and I'm looking for it right now. I've got it laying around here somewhere where I put it, but I've got a couple of bags of it somewhere. What you do is you take it and you buy some resin. There's a specific type of resin that you can dunk the cloth into it, soak the cloth, and get it covered with this resin. Now it's completely covered with resin. It's sticky. You can stick it onto a surface, and then you can add more layers of the cloth over top of that. More cloth, more resin, more cloth, more resin. You can build up a shape form of it. Just gotta shut down the phone there, guys. But anyway, yeah, so like I say, you can take this cloth and you can add resin to it, and you can shape it, you can cut it, you can sand it, smooth it out, fill it. You can use body filler in it, and when it's all done and smooth and in the shape that you want, you can actually paint it. So what I want to do, so I don't know if I'm going to make a form. I could potentially make a form so that it's the right shape for this window. Now, when I say the right shape, it's got to cover the black part too. It's got to come up to the edge and cover over the black part here. It's got to completely hide the black, and of course, when you do that, that's going to completely hide the window as well. Now, of course, that means I've covered up my window. I can't look out that window anymore, but that's not a big problem. I mean, some of the cars are kind of made that way, where you put louvers. Well, not made that way. People will put louvers on them, and you can't really see out the louvers. So covering those little side windows is not a big deal. You will lose a little bit of visibility. You get a little more blind spots, but I'm thinking of the looks of the vehicle. What I want to do is I want to create a template or a pattern that'll fit in that hole, cover everything over, and I want to use either fiberglass, no, not fiberglass, sorry, styrofoam, and that fiberglass, carbon fiber cloth and resin to come up with a panel that I can put on there using like 3M tape that has Velcro on it. Just that's actually how you could put your louvers and stuff on, is that they use the Velcro, the 3M tape that has Velcro. You use the 3M Velcro and stick it on one surface, and then you stick it on the window as well, and then you can just stick that piece right onto the Velcro, and then if you want to take it off, you just grab it, pull it off, it comes right off. You know, it's easily removable, right? So I want to build a template, the right shape for this, and of course I want to build it out so that it's going to be level with the surface from here to here, and I want to completely fill this window in, and I want to see if Ford has either Ford or Canadian Tire or somebody, if they've got the match paint now. A lot of times you can buy the small cans of match paint in case you have scratches, nicks, whatever, you want to fix them on your car. So I would assume now that this is a 2017 and this is a 2015 car, that they should have that match paint, should be out. I should be able to buy some small cans of that without spending a lot of money. So I would put a panel on here and then build it so it fits here really nice, and then take it off the bench somewhere and you know, fill it with some light putty, clean it up, smooth it out, and get a nice smooth glossy surface like this, and then paint it with the match paint so that it matches the car, and then of course put the 3M Velcro on to stick that on here. So now it's going to look like there's no window there. Now the only thing about it that I probably can't do anything about that bothers me a little bit is that in my mind this should have went straight up and down. This should be straight up and down here like this, not at an angle. So, you know, I mean, it would have been nice if I could have built something that would have came up here like this, right, and filled this in, but I can't do that because I'd be covering the glass on the door. I wouldn't be able to open my door. So it's pretty much dictated by design that it's going to have to you know, come at an angle like this and end there. But nevertheless, if I could fill this all in with orange and have it flush and looking like a body panel like the roof line here, I think I would like that, and I think that's a project that I could probably handle. It would be fairly time consuming and you know, quite detailed work, but that's something I'm going to try. What I would do is try to build one panel first, get it to match, get it to look good, get it on there, don't put one on the other side, do a video to show, you know, the before and after, because I could show the other side before and I could show the side that I have the new panel on after, and you know, that would give me also some references to instead of trying to rely on memories, like which side looks better, right? So then if it's worthwhile, if I like that panel and it's worthwhile, then I could probably spin out a few more panels like that for somebody else if they wanted them, right? But that's one design issue that I found with the car that I was a little upset with. Well, not upset with, but looking at it and kind of noticing, you know, like I wish I could change that. And so that's one project I might tackle. Another thing about the car, of course, is like I said, they want to try to make it look as much like a BMW as possible. So they, you know, the front end is by design looks a lot like a BMW from certain angles, which is okay, I guess. If I really want something that looks like a 69 Mach 1 or a 69 Boss V02 or whatever, I mean, I've got to bite the bullet, get rid of this car. Get some money set aside and look around really hard and find something like that, you know. I mean, really, that's what I like to have. The only thing is it wouldn't have the performance aspect that this has got. if I could find a car like that and take the undercarriage of this car, the engine, the transmission, and all that stuff, and put into one of the older cars to get the performance out of it, that the suspension performance and the power performance the newer car has, that would be pretty cool. But I just love the older body styles on those cars. I mean, even some of the 66 and 67 fastbacks were really, really, really cool cars too. You know, I really like the way they're shaped. I mean, that's what prompted me to want Mustangs, right? I mean, I grew up looking at magazines, you know, when I was in my teens, you know, probably mid-70s or so. That's when I discovered Mustangs. I looked at a lot of car magazines. The Mustangs were the ones that jumped out at me. And I always liked the 69 and 70s. But as time went on, I realized the 69, the 70, the 71s, the fastbacks primarily are the ones that I'm more interested in. Some of the other ones are nice too, but mostly the fastbacks. I started looking at some of the earlier fastbacks, you know, the 66 and 67s and stuff like that. And it's like, wow, you know, those are pretty sharp looking cars too. I mean, I would settle for anything that's a fastback, Mustang, pretty much any year. Well, I shouldn't say that. Some of the later ones, 72, 73, 74, I think they got bigger. The Mach 1s got really big, and they were more of a hatchback, although they looked like a fastback, but hatch type. They had the fold down seats in them. A lot of the Mustangs had the back seats were fold down in them, which is pretty handy, I guess. I don't mind that so much, but the bigger ones are nice. I wouldn't mind having one of those, but my preference is to have one of the smaller body designs, not the later 70s. You know, from the very early 70s back, from about 71 back. I think. I don't know if they made a 72 or not that I would like. I'd have to do some research, but just to give you an idea, I got some pictures of the wall over here. I can show you what I'm talking about. Oops, wait a minute. Gotta pick up something here, guys. There we go. Knocking stuff over there. But I got some pictures up on the wall over here. So this was the body style that first got my attention, was this yellow guy here. Now that one right there is, I believe, a Mach 1 or something. I'm not sure if it's a Mach 1 or whatever. I think it's a 69. 69's had the 4 headlights in the front, side by side, staggered. The two outside ones were set back a little bit. Had scoops on the side and everything. So that was kind of the one that actually got me going on Mustangs. And here's the bigger one I'm talking about right here. I'm not sure what year that is. And then there's another one right there. Now that's a nice looking car, but it's a bigger car, right? Quite a bit bigger. And they're nice too. But then when you look at the earlier fastbacks, there's probably a 67 or 66 or something right there. That's pretty nice. And here's another one here. This is the fastback, although it's hard to tell at that angle. But this is your true fastback right here, this yellow guy. This is what set me off on Mustangs right there. And then, of course, your Fox body over there. A lot of people like the Fox bodies for racing, drag racing and stuff. That's convertible. But a lot of guys like to race the Fox bodies. And I mean, you know, even some of these ones here, coupes, are kind of nice too, but not my favorite. So that's where my passion for Mustangs came from. And like I said, you know, I always like the fastback look. I also like the having the wide haunch on a car here like this too, like a hip or whatever, wide hips you might want to call it. Having that fastback roof come in this way gives a bigger hip on it. So the more this is pinched in, this fastback in the back here, the more girth you get there, which looks pretty cool. And then I've always liked the tri-bar tail lights. They're different styles, but that's a pretty common. That's the basic style for a Mustang is the tri whatever they call it, tail lights with the 3 tail lights side by side in each side. Many different designs of that, but still it's always 3 bars to give it that tri-bar look. And now in terms of being retro, some of the retro aspects on the newer Mustangs are the chrome rings that you have around the gauges. The style of the dash, where you got the 2 pillars on the left and the right, and a disc in the center. That's quite retro. And the big chrome rings around the gauges, that was on a lot of the older cars. mid 60s and up to early 70s. That's very retro. This is kind of retro too. This style that you see on the dashboard with the fish scale. That's kind of retro too. I like that. But they've done a lot to give it the Mustang feel. Still has the 5-liter engine. But back in the day, for me, like thinking of a '69 Mach 1 Mustang or '69 Boss, wouldn't be a 5-liter. It would have been a 302 cubic inch. We just called it 302. They still have 302 cubic inches under the hood of the newer vehicles as well. This one here specifically has a 302 in it, but it's a much broader engine. The dimensions have changed. It still has the same capacity, but it's just in a bigger package. And of course, it's all made out of aluminum, so it's a lot lighter. And of course, it pumps out probably almost twice as much horsepower. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. That wraps it up with the Mustang. That's probably going to be one of my projects coming up soon. I will put some louvers in the back window too, like the old school louvers. But I do want to see if I can make a panel to cover those side windows in the back. So until the time rolls around where I have something on that, we'll let you go. So for now, peace out.